Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to unpack some serious gold today when it comes to building a killer sales team.
Oh, I'm ready.
It's not an exaggeration to say that the stakes are huge.
Huge is right.
I was reading that a bad sales hire can cost a company almost $15,000.
Ouch.
That's why this deep dive is so important. We're looking at tips for conducting successful candidate screening from the sales experts.
They're a global sales recruitment firm. Really know their stuff.
Okay, so they kick things off by talking about the importance of defining crystal clear job requirements before you even start looking at resumes.
Yeah.
This might sound basic, but they really hammer it home.
It's foundational.
Why do you think they put so much emphasis on that?
Well, it's not just about having a job description, right? It's about really being strategic, like creating a success profile, almost like a blueprint of your ideal candidate.
Okay, I like that.
So you're thinking about what skills do your top performers actually have? What experience sets them apart? What are those personality traits that contribute to their success?
Got it. So it's less about just ticking boxes on a resume.
Way less.
And more about understanding the DNA of a top-performing salesperson in your specific company.
You got it.
I love that.
You need to attract the right people from the start. And that all begins with being laser-focused on what really drives sales success in your context.
That makes a lot of sense.
The sales experts also talk about using structured interviews.
Structured interviews.
It might sound a little formal at first.
Yeah, it does. A little bit.
But the more I think about it,
Yeah.
the more it makes sense.
So unpack that for me. What's the magic behind these structured interviews?
Well, think of it like this.
Okay.
You're running a taste test.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't give some people chips and other people chocolate, right?
Right.
You'd offer everyone the same product so you could compare their reactions fairly.
I see where you're going with this.
Structured interviews do the same thing. You're asking every candidate the same set of carefully crafted questions.
Okay.
These questions directly relate to the skills and traits that you outlined in your success profile.
So you're not just relying on gut feeling or whether someone's a good storyteller?
No, not at all. You're actually gathering consistent, comparable data from each candidate.
It takes the guesswork out.
Exactly. Helps you be more objective, especially when you're dealing with a large pool of applicants.
Oh, I've been there. A flood of resumes, and it's easy to get swayed by a flashy CV.
I hear you.
But the structured interview keeps you focused on what matters.
Yes, that's the beauty of it. Now, hard skills are one thing, but we all know that soft skills are the secret sauce in sales.
They really are.
And the sales experts had some really interesting insights on this.
All ears.
They actually identified some specific soft skills that move the needle.
All right, so spill the tea. What are they?
Well, communication's no surprise, right?
Of course not.
It's the foundation of everything in sales. It's true.
Think about it. Building rapport, handling those tricky objections, presenting your product in a way that resonates with people.
Yeah.
And ultimately, closing the deal.
Right, you can't do any of that without strong communication skills.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then there's problem solving.
Oh, that's a good one.
The sales world, it's full of curveballs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Clients have these unique needs, markets shift, and the unexpected always seems to pop up.
All the time.
A great salesperson needs to be able to think on their feet, be resourceful, come up with creative solutions on the fly.
So adaptable, right? Being able to roll with the punches.
You got it. What else? Let's see. Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It really does. I know sales can seem like a solo sport sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But even the most independent reps, they need to be able to work effectively within a team.
Oh, for sure.
It's about sharing knowledge, supporting each other, and creating a positive and productive work environment where everyone can thrive.
We've all been on teams where that synergy is missing.
Yeah, and it can be such a drag on morale and performance.
Absolutely. And finally, the sales experts emphasize resilience.
That's huge in sales.
It really is. Sales is a numbers game, right?
It is.
That means facing rejection, a lot of it.
So much rejection.
You need people who can bounce back from those no's, stay motivated, keep that positive energy going, even when things are tough.
That mental toughness.
Yeah.
You can teach skills, but that inner drive, that's something special.
You said it. And the sales experts argue that these soft skills are often even more critical for long-term sales success than just technical expertise.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got structured interviews to gauge those hard skills. We're zeroing in on evaluating these soft skills.
Yeah.
What other tools do the sales experts recommend for building this dream sales team?
They're big on behavioral assessments.
Okay.
Now, before you roll your eyes and think personality tests, these aren't your average quizzes. We're talking about assessments that are designed specifically to understand how someone is likely to behave in a sales role.
So less about what's your spirit animal and more, can you handle the pressure of a big sales pitch?
You got it.
I like it.
They're looking for traits that have been proven to be strong predictors of sales success.
Makes sense.
Things like self-motivation.
Oh, that's a big one.
Huge. You don't want to be constantly chasing your team to hit their targets.
No, you don't.
You need people who are driven from within.
That self-starter mentality, it's gold.
Pure gold.
So what else are these assessments designed to uncover?
Another key trait is goal orientation.
Ah, I see.
Top salespeople, they don't just want to hit their quota.
No.
They're constantly setting new targets, raising the bar, pushing themselves to achieve more.
That ambition can be contagious.
Totally.
It can really elevate the whole team's performance.
It does. So, anything else? Let me think. Oh, adaptability.
Right, because the sales landscape is always changing.
Always. You need people who are comfortable with change, who can learn new skills, who thrive in those dynamic environments.
A growth mindset, right?
Yes. Being open to new approaches, not getting stuck in their ways. And of course, there's handling rejection.
Always a fun one.
The assessments can help to identify candidates who have that mental fortitude, right?
Yeah.
To hear no and come back even stronger.
You know, it's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. Rejection is just part of the game in sales.
It's true.
But it's how you respond to it that truly defines your success.
Okay, I am totally sold on these behavioral assessments.
I knew you would be.
They sound like a really powerful way to get a real sense of a candidate's potential.
They are. Now, we're getting to a step that probably feels like a no-brainer.
Okay.
But as the sales experts point out, it often gets glossed over.
I'm intrigued.
Checking references.
Oh, checking references.
You would think it'd be automatic.
Right.
But you'd be surprised how many companies don't take the time to do thorough reference checks.
Why do you think that is? Is it just a matter of time crunches? Or is there something else at play?
It's probably a combination of factors.
Okay.
Sometimes it's time pressure. Sometimes it's assuming that the resume and the interview paint the whole picture.
Right.
But reference checks can be incredibly valuable.
I think so too.
They can either validate what you've learned about a candidate or raise some red flags you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
So it's not just confirming their dates of employment?
No, it's so much more.
You're really trying to dig in and get a sense of their work style, how they interact with colleagues, what their previous managers really thought of their performance?
Exactly. You want to go beyond those basic questions like, would you rehire this person?
Yeah.
Really dig into their work style. You might ask, can you give me an example of a time when this candidate went above and beyond? Or how would you describe their approach to handling a difficult client?
Those questions give you so much more insight than just a simple yes or no.
So much more.
Okay, so this next part is where I really get excited.
Oh, tell me.
The sales experts talk about using realistic sales simulations during the screening process.
Ah, yes.
This sounds so much more effective than just asking those hypothetical questions in an interview.
Absolutely. It's like taking them for a test drive before you hand over the keys.
I love that.
You're creating scenarios that mirror the real-world challenges that your sales team faces.
Okay.
Things like handling objections, presenting to a tough crowd, or negotiating a complex deal.
So you're giving them a taste of what it's actually like to work on your sales team, but in a safe space.
Exactly. It's a chance to see how they think on their feet, how they handle pressure, how their sales style plays out in action.
It's like a sneak peek into their sales superpowers.
I like the way you think.
Okay, so I love everything we've talked about so far, those structured interviews, the behavioral assessments, the reference checks, those brilliant sales simulations.
It's a solid foundation.
But now we need to talk about something that can make or break even the most skilled salesperson.
Oh, what's that?
Cultural fit.
Ah, yes. Cultural fit. This is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
You can have someone with all the right skills and experience, but if they don't mesh with your company culture,
Right.
it's going to be an uphill battle.
It's like trying to force two puzzle pieces together that just don't fit.
Perfect analogy.
A culture clash can lead to low morale, conflicts, and ultimately high turnover, which, is costly on so many levels.
For sure. Disrupts the whole team dynamic.
So what are some key things to consider when trying to gauge this elusive cultural fit?
Values alignment, first and foremost.
Values.
Do the candidate's personal values resonate with the core values that drive your company?
Okay, so if your company prioritizes collaboration and the candidate's very much a lone wolf.
Could be a red flag. definitely something to consider. You also want to think about team dynamics.
Team dynamics, right?
What's the vibe of your sales team? Are they highly competitive or more collaborative? Do they have a formal or informal communication style? You need to find someone who will complement that existing dynamic.
It's like assembling a world-class orchestra, right?
Love it.
You need every instrument to be in harmony.
Exactly. And finally, don't underestimate the importance of just the overall work environment.
Work environment.
Is your company fast-paced and results-driven, or is it more relaxed and process-oriented? Do you have a remote, in-office, or hybrid model?
All important factors.
Absolutely. These can all play a role in whether a candidate will feel comfortable and supported.
So you're essentially trying to paint a realistic picture of what it's actually like to work at your company
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
and see if the candidate's expectations and their work style align with that reality.
Exactly. The more transparent you are about your culture, the better your chances of finding someone who will not only excel in the role, but also thrive and genuinely enjoy being part of your team.
And when someone loves their job and loves their team,
Yes,
that passion shines through in everything they do.
absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where individual success fuels team success and vice versa.
I love that. Okay, so we've gone from defining those crystal clear job requirements to navigating the nuances of cultural fit.
We have.
We've uncovered some seriously powerful tools and techniques along the way.
I agree.
But before we wrap up part one of this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to touch on one last point that the sales experts emphasize:
What's that?
the importance of making data-driven decisions.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's so easy to get swept away by gut feelings and first impressions.
It is.
But at the end of the day, we want to be grounding our hiring decisions in objective data.
That's right. Using metrics to track the effectiveness of your screening process
Mhm.
and making adjustments as needed.
So are you attracting the right candidates?
Yeah.
Are your interviews actually revealing the top performers?
It's all about the data.
Are you actually using data to inform your decisions?
These are all crucial questions we need to be asking ourselves.
As we're fine-tuning that candidate screening process.
For sure. The more data you gather, the better equipped you'll be to make smart hiring decisions that lead to real sales success.
So data is our ally in this quest for building a killer sales team.
Without a doubt, data helps us to see patterns, uncover blind spots, make informed choices.
All right. Feels like we've officially unpacked part one of tips for conducting successful candidate screening from the sales experts. It's been a whirlwind of actionable insights.
It really has, and this is just the beginning.
Oh, there's so much more to explore.
So much more when it comes to building and managing a high-performing sales team.
Exactly. And we're going to dive even deeper into all of that in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned, folks. There's so much more to learn.
You know, it's interesting. All these screening techniques that we've been talking about,
Yeah.
they're not just valuable for new hires.
Oh, tell me more. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. These principles, you can actually apply them to your existing team as part of like an ongoing development strategy.
Oh, interesting. So like a continuous improvement loop.
Exactly. You know, maybe there are some hidden skill gaps that need to be addressed.
Right, right.
Or perhaps certain team members would benefit from like some additional coaching or mentorship.
Yeah. Or maybe even realize that the team dynamics could use a little tweaking
For sure.
to improve collaboration and communication.
It's like giving your sales engine a tune-up.
I love that analogy.
Using these screening principles as a framework for ongoing team development, it can be super powerful.
It's almost like a secret weapon for sales leaders.
It is. It is.
We're not just hiring for today.
Right.
We're building a team that can adapt, grow, and just dominate the market for years to come.
Absolutely. And speaking of long-term success,
Yeah.
the sales experts, they also touch on the importance of onboarding
Onboarding, right?
and ongoing development for new hires.
It's so crucial.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's often overlooked.
It really is.
But it's so crucial for setting those new recruits up for success.
It makes them feel like valued members of the team from day one.
Yes, exactly. It's not just about paperwork and introductions.
Right.
It's about giving them the tools and the knowledge that they need to really hit the ground running.
So training them on your products or services, your sales process, your CRM system.
All the essentials.
Yeah, all those essentials.
But it's also about, you know, immersing them in your company culture,
The culture, right?
connecting them with mentors who can guide them.
Mentors are so valuable.
They are. And just creating those opportunities for them to learn and grow.
to spread their wings and fly.
Exactly. And ongoing development is just as important.
Absolutely.
The sales landscape is constantly evolving.
It is.
So it's vital to keep your team ahead of the curve.
So think industry conferences, online courses,
Yeah.
workshops,
Yes,
anything that can keep their skills sharp and their knowledge up to date.
absolutely. And it's not just about staying current on the trends and technology. It's also about refining those sales techniques, deepening their understanding of your offerings,
Yeah.
and continuously honing those all-important soft skills that we talked about earlier.
It's an investment in your team's growth
It is.
and ultimately an investment in the future success of your company.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's a reminder that sales leadership, it goes beyond just hitting those quotas and closing deals.
Yeah.
It's about building a team of, high-performing individuals who are motivated, engaged, and really committed to achieving those shared goals.
Love that perspective. It's about nurturing that talent, fostering a culture of success, and empowering your team to reach their full potential.
And that's what makes the insights from the sales experts so valuable.
It really is.
They provide this holistic framework for building a winning sales team, from that initial candidate screening to ongoing development and creating a supportive environment.
They remind us that while skills and experience are important,
Yes.
it's that human element that truly drives sales success.
It's all about the people. It's about finding the right people, igniting their passion, and creating a space where they can truly thrive.
And when you get that right, the sales, they will follow.
Precisely. It's that beautiful synergy where everyone wins.
Speaking of winning, the sales experts also emphasize the importance of celebrating successes.
Yes. Celebrating wins.
Recognizing the hard work of your sales team.
Oh, absolutely. Recognition is a powerful motivator.
Huge motivator.
And it's crucial to acknowledge and celebrate the dedication and the achievements of your team.
It's not just about hitting those sales targets, right?
No.
It's about recognizing those individual contributions, those milestones,
Yeah.
any accomplishment, big or small, that deserves a moment in the spotlight.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture.
Right.
It's the thought that counts.
A simple shout out in a team meeting, a handwritten thank you note, maybe a celebratory lunch, or a small gift to show your appreciation.
It's about making your team feel valued, appreciated, and motivated to keep crushing it.
Because when your team feels valued,
Yeah.
they're more engaged, more productive, and more loyal.
Absolutely. And that translates into even better sales results and a stronger bottom line for the company.
So celebrating success isn't just a feel-good activity.
No, not at all.
It's a strategic investment
It is.
in the long-term success of your sales team.
Couldn't agree more. It's about fostering that positive and supportive culture that encourages growth, innovation, and that drive for excellence.
It's about reminding your team that their efforts are noticed, appreciated, and they have a real impact.
Precisely. Recognition is a tool that can boost morale, ignite performance, and cultivate a more engaged and motivated sales team.
And who doesn't want a sales team that's firing on all cylinders?
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's the key to unlocking that next level of sales success and driving sustainable growth.
Okay, wow. I feel like we've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From the initial screening process to ongoing development and the power of recognition.
The sales experts have given us a treasure trove of insights
You really have.
into what it takes to build and sustain a high-performing sales team.
They've reminded us that sales leadership isn't just about closing deals.
It's so much more.
It's about investing in your people, igniting their passion,
Yes.
cultivating a winning culture.
It's about leadership, it's about strategy, and it's about creating an environment where your team can really thrive and reach their full potential.
And when you achieve that balance,
The sales will follow.
absolutely, it's a win-win for everyone involved.
It is.
Okay, I am feeling incredibly inspired and ready to put these insights into action.
Me too. This has been a fantastic deep dive into the world of sales leadership and team building.
But before we move on to our final thoughts,
Okay.
I want to just pause for a moment.
Yeah, let it all sink in.
Let all of this sink in. So take a moment, listeners.
Take a moment.
And think about the one thing that you've learned today that really resonated with you,
What's that one nugget of wisdom?
that you're going to carry with you
Mm-hmm.
as you build and lead your own sales teams. I've been thinking about what really resonated with me from this whole deep dive
Yeah.
is that whole idea of cultural fit.
Mm-hmm.
Something we touched on earlier, but it just keeps coming back to me.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
It's this hidden force that can really make or break a team's success.
For sure.
You can have all the talent in the world, but if the cultural fit is off,
Yeah.
it's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Totally. And you know what's interesting about cultural fit?
What?
It ties directly back to something the sales experts talked about earlier, company values.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it all comes full circle.
It does. It does.
Values are the heart and soul of any company culture.
They really are.
They're the guiding principles that shape everything, from, decision-making to everyday interactions.
And if your hiring process doesn't take that into account, you're basically just rolling the dice on whether a new hire is going to embrace those values.
Right. Like, they're not just empty words on a website, right?
No, not at all.
They're the compass that guides the entire organization.
It's true. If your values aren't front and center during the hiring process, you risk creating a disconnect between what your company stands for and the people who represent it.
So how can sales leaders make sure that they're attracting candidates who actually share those company values?
Well, I think the first step is to clearly define and articulate what those values are.
Okay.
It's about understanding what makes your company tick, right?
Yeah. What are those core principles that drive your decisions and behaviors and your overall approach to business?
Exactly. It's not enough to just have like a vague mission statement or a list of values tucked away on a website somewhere.
No, you need to bring those values to life.
You need to make them tangible, relatable, so that candidates can really see how those values translate into action. So you've defined those core values. You've made them come alive. Now, how do you weave them into the hiring process?
Right. How do you actually assess whether a candidate is aligned with them?
There are a few really powerful strategies you can use.
Okay.
One is to incorporate behavioral interview questions.
The behavioral interview questions.
That specifically target values alignment.
I see.
So, for example, you might ask a candidate to describe a time they faced an ethical dilemma at work.
Okay.
And how they navigated that situation.
So you can see those values in action.
Yeah, exactly. Another effective strategy is to use values-based assessments. These are designed specifically to evaluate candidates on, how they align with your company's core principles.
So you're not just looking at their skills on paper.
No.
You're getting a sense of their character.
You're looking at how they approach their work.
Almost like a sneak peek into their moral compass.
Precisely. And the last strategy I love is storytelling.
Oh, storytelling. I love stories.
Me too. Yeah. Don't underestimate the power of sharing real stories about how your company's values have come to life.
Oh, I love that. So they can see those values in action.
Exactly. And when a candidate connects with those stories on an emotional level, that's a really powerful sign that there's potential for a genuine match.
This has been such an amazing exploration of candidate screening.
It has.
We've covered so much. We talked about defining those job requirements, assessing those all-important soft skills, and we talked about cultural fit, the crucial role of values alignment.
So much good stuff.
It's been a whirlwind. But as we wrap up, I want to circle back to one last point that the sales experts emphasized.
Okay.
The importance of continuous improvement.
Oh, that's huge. The work of building a world-class sales team never really ends.
Right. It's an ongoing journey.
It is. It's a journey of refining, adapting, always seeking those marginal gains.
Even if you have a great screening process in place, there's always room for improvement, right?
Always, always.
You've got to constantly be evaluating, gathering data, making tweaks to make sure that you're attracting and hiring the absolute best.
Like fine-tuning a high-performance engine.
Yeah, you're always looking for ways to get a little more horsepower.
A little more efficiency.
And it highlights the importance of staying curious.
Yeah. Being open to feedback, embracing that growth mindset.
Absolutely. So, to all our listeners out there, take these insights, put them into action, and never stop seeking those opportunities for improvement. Your sales team and your bottom line will thank you for it.
I couldn't agree more. It's been such a pleasure being here.
The pleasure was all mine. And to all of our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep those sales pipelines flowing. And remember, building a great team is the foundation for achieving lasting success.